Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and the United States .fm network. Don't forget the new station 104.1.FM. 104.1.FM. What am I saying? It's the heat. Guess what? We are like 120 degrees. Yes, Mojave County is burning. And you heard also, of course, lately this, let's say, not very spontaneous fire. Somebody is really need to be punished in a very harsh way. When you burn somebody else's home, and there is no excuse. Not like you trying to, steal for a piece of bread. That still would be bad, okay? But when you're an arsonist and you're burning properties and endangering life, I really believe you're supposed to get the worst treatment. I mean, they need to throw the book at you. I don't care. There is no excuse. The only excuse that you're crazy, and guess what? Still, you need to be punished, in my opinion. Anyway, regardless, it's very hot. Guess what? We need to continue the struggle. Sometimes I understand it would be nice just to go on vacation, just forget about all this stuff. After all, do we really make a difference here? Who am I? A guy with an accent that barely sometimes can speak English. Why am I here? That's the only, I always ask myself this thing every week. And I've been asking this for about almost 4 years now. I really believe, as I said, this is for me, not a business. This is not like even a hobby. I don't do this for hobby. I got so many things I can do for hobby. This is like a mission. It's my little commitment, my little fulfillment of my oath when I became a citizen. After all, I wasn't born here. And when I became a citizen, I took an oath to defend this republic, to defend its constitution. And the principles expressed, this is, I also elaborate a little more because I'm not here to support any politicians. I didn't take an oath to kiss, Obama's ass or go after Trump and be anybody's slave. No, I'm here to stand for the ideals that our founding fathers, somehow built this country upon. That was the idea. So this is for me the way to somehow reach out people, try to do my little deeds. And I said, I'm not perfect. I got my own problems. I'm not here to preach. But at the same time, I'm trying my best. That's all I can do. So I will use every minute of this show to do things and say things that normally many other radio show, they don't even want to talk about it. Things that maybe may be unpopular. My position about 9/11, yes, I'm not ashamed. I am not ashamed about many other things. Every time I tell you that I know, that I believe it's true, I don't care about the public opinion. I do what I have to do. I tell you what I have to tell you. Sometimes I really hope I'm also wrong. And I would be very happy to admit it. Yes, I'm wrong. I was wrong. Sorry. I have no problems with that. But, unfortunately, most of the times I'm right. That's the reality. Now, let's talk about what happened a few weeks ago. I had on my show a very sad story that I really believe, I don't know. Sometimes I get very emotionally attached. I shouldn't, probably, to all my guests, to all their stories. I'm supposed to be like a lawyer. They don't give a crap. They just get your money and run. Or maybe like a doctor. They feel a little compassion, but not really. Unfortunately, I get really involved. Even, of course, I'm just a guy. I'm just a regular guy that can give you a microphone for a few minutes. That's it. I cannot fix your problems. But at least I would like to give you the chance to say what needs to be said. And that's my goal. So anyway, a few weeks ago, I had the lawyer of an American man, a U.S. Navy sailor, who spent already almost more than 1 year, at least getting there, in prison, found guilty, just because of a felony, or maybe more than one. I don't know the details now, but the bottom line, his life is being ruined because he took 5 or 6 photos. I think there were 6 photos while he was stationed inside a submarine. By the way, these photos, they were not classified. Yes, probably broke some protocol. Yes, I'm sure Maybe you should have not done that. But if you remember the story, they really threw the book at him. Something that should have been dealt maybe with just some sort of maybe, I don't know, even a demotion or maybe just some reprimandation, I don't know, punishment, whatever. But he was the only one really that spent time in jail, dishonorable discharge, everything gone, his retirement, is of course his benefits, felony. I mean, meanwhile, the funny thing was that Mrs. Hillary Clinton was jumping around the country, 30,000 emails and completely violation of every federal law and statute. I would say treason, lying, perjuring, everything you can imagine, the server, and much more. But guess what? She's the Clinton. She's not just a regular lady. So that's the point. And that's why it was so important a few weeks ago, this interview, to remind that we are not free anymore. As I said, the definition of tyranny, in my opinion, is when we have selective enforcement of the law. For slaves, yes, they will throw the book at us. But for the lords and overlords or underlords, guess what? Nobody's going to touch them. So that's why we got to expose them, we got to fight back, and we got to do everything we can. Now, I have the lady that is the wife of this man, Kris Saucier. Her name is Sadie Saucier, and I would like to have her because I really like to meet her a little bit. I talked with a lawyer. He's a great guy, but I like to know more also the human part of a woman as a wife with a child at home, how she's trying to manage all this, the lack of money and only God knows how much drama. It's not just spending time in jail, all the family destruction left behind, emotional, physical, economical. So anyway, and there is also much more. I would like to talk to her about vaccinations. Now, let me shut up. Let me bring her on. Hopefully she's still there, didn't run. Sadie Saucier, are you there? Did you fall asleep?
No, I'm there. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Nice to meet you, Sadie. And, we found each other on Facebook. I believe that Facebook, if we use correctly, we can find a lot of great people out there to network and help each other. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Now, I would like to introduce briefly yourself. More important, remind maybe in few details, a little bit about your husband. Exactly. I give the short stories, but if something I miss, please go ahead and fill it up before we go ahead.
You pretty much explained it. He served 11 years to our country. He pretty much, putting it bluntly, got screwed. There was a couple other people who did the same thing, that only got a loss of pay and a rank, and he was treated very unfairly. So you pretty much said it. He was treated like a slave would be treated, just because he doesn't have a name, power, and money. He got the book pretty much thrown at him, and we have been trying to deal with the path of destruction, and it's ongoing, and it's going to continue to be ongoing.
I have a question for you. You think it was just the case, because sometimes, they need to just make an example, just to show that, hey, we are the country under the rule of law, bang, and they need to smash somebody just to remind that, we have laws, but of course, just for us. Or maybe there was something more. They pick him out maybe because there was some sort of, they didn't like something about him. Maybe he questions he has so many questions. Or maybe, I don't know, sometimes it happens. By the way, I don't want to go into conspiracy, but I see on your Facebook page, and I'm very proud that's why, honestly, we found each other, that you have 9/11 inside job, okay? Or at least, the story, not exactly the official government fables that we're supposed to believe. So, and I completely agree, because this is not about conspiracy. The conspiracy is against us. Still, after 17 years later, all people have to do just use their brain and law of physics, and there is no conspiracy. But the point is, maybe something that they use against him because maybe there was something that they wanted to use against you, or maybe he was aware too of something that he's supposed not to be aware. I'm just thinking here.
You're talking about a sailor who made rank very fast. Kris is very smart. He has never had any disciplinary action against him. The whole time he's been in the Navy, you're talking about a man who has never had anything against him. So I don't understand. Yeah, they made an example of him. Unfortunately, they picked him out of the others. I don't know why. That is a question.
My question is
another
this.
question.
Could be maybe because, and I'm just guessing, probably I'm completely out. I see you as an American woman who is proud, not afraid to display on your Facebook page a symbol called 9/11 Truth USA. That means you are one of the people that probably the government, or at least the deep state, consider you like an enemy of the state because you want to know the truth about the lies of this mass murdering case, what happened 9/11. So when somebody like...
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the point. You know exactly when somebody like you, like myself too, I'm not ashamed. I'm not trying to hide it. That's why I found you. Say, okay, you know that. Right now, honestly, I don't want to talk with friends, people that they still don't get this stuff. But the point is, maybe, and I'm just guessing, when you work for the government, especially in the military, and they see that some of your family member is a pain in the butt, like you are, because you ask for the truth, sometimes maybe they want just to use a little bit of force to show who is boss. As I said, this is just my conspiracy, maybe, and maybe I'm wrong. But what do you think?
I think they used way too much force. I mean, you're talking about our home was raided. They used so much money investigating Kris. It was ridiculous. They flew FBI agents out to different states to interrogate people that he worked with in the Navy. Not only did they, they took all of our guns from us. They went through my home with a fine-tooth comb. At 6 a.m. in the morning with NCIS, FBI, police, you name it. And it was sickening, and it was sickening all the efforts. They took 3 years. You're talking about something that was done in 2009,
wow.
And my husband was just sentenced and prosecuted, at 30 years old. He did this in his 20s.
Wow.
So I just don't understand all the time, the effort, and the money, the FBI. It's pretty sick when they could be out there actually putting that money to good use. So I have a big question on that. Why? How can they do that when there's real crime committers out there? There's real things that they need to look into, and this was so petty and so out there. It baffles me 100%.
Exactly. And as I said, the timing was perfect. All this was going on when Hillary Clinton was somehow in the spotlight, just because, nothing really happened. But meanwhile, she was breaking every type of laws, and nothing.
They needed to take the heat off of her somehow. So
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the things they did was they used my husband, of course. And
at this point, I would like to ask you a couple of things. I know that there was an appeal. It was rejected, I guess, for a pardon. Am I right or wrong?
You are right. The DOJ put that in as a waiver, and they sent that to us. And unfortunately, it was questioned, and I actually called the pardon attorney's office to question that, and it was indeed, rejected. So we don't even know if it went to Trump. And I support our president. I support all the effort, everything he's doing. But my question is, if he talked about my husband during the campaign, and he talked about him in the Oval Office in the Sean Hannity interview, why has nothing been done?
Yeah. And as I said, this is not like, oh my gosh, it's just another day at the Grand Hotel. Every hour you spend in that facility is an hour away from your family, is one paycheck less from your table that you could feed your family, 1 hour less you could spend with your husband as a husband and wife. I mean, your daughter, even the last year, she's too, how old is she, your daughter? Is she too old?
She'll be two in September. On September 7th, she'll be 2.
Probably at least half of her life, she didn't see a father. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely. Well, he went in October 12th, 2016.
Yeah.
So he got to be there for some of it, but he missed a lot of things that were important, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this is sad. Now, question, you don't have to answer, of course, but I like to get a little bit of the human part that people say, okay, the man is in prison, is rotting there. Oh, that's terrible, especially when you don't deserve it. But at the same time, there's also another side, probably not more, as famous, as the person in prison, but you're home by yourself. How do you pay bills, if I can ask? I mean, do you work? How can you keep your life
I don't
together?
work right now, unfortunately. I don't have that opportunity. We do live in Vermont. It's a small little town, practically in the middle of nowhere, and you're talking about, maybe I'll make $10 to $15 an hour, but then I'm paying for childcare and diesel. And, I was working prior to my husband going to prison. I was a security guard and now I'm making nothing. So we're living off of what people have donated to UCaring or GoFundMe. And I'm not ashamed. I tell people all the time, I'm living off $3,000 until my husband comes home.
Wow.
That's why on our page, I mean, we have a page on Facebook. It's called Free Kris Saucier. Kris is with a K. And people can donate on that site to the UCaring if they want to.
Give it one more time. Spell it out, please.
It's going to be on Facebook, and it's free, Free, and it's all one word, Kris, Kris, Saucier, Saucier on Facebook. So Free Kris Saucier.
All right. This is
and people can find out a lot about the story. There's a web page there. If they click on the link, they can see all the media that we've done, and the UCaring is there as well.
Yeah, and as I said, also, if you are a Trump supporter, that's great. But it's time to get accountability from all our politicians. We cannot just pick and choose when we support the person or not. We want to be critical in a positive way with everybody. Not because it's your guy, you want to ignore important facts like this. I mean, this is a serious stuff. We have President Trump going around, Saudi Arabia or Korea, say, look how proud I am. I freed that man or I freed that guy. Great. We have an American sailor here that his life and his family's life is being destroyed. At least we don't ask for favors. We don't ask for any type of private deals or, lobbies. We ask just for justice. I mean, all we ask, until Hillary doesn't go to jail, and he gets at least, let's put it this way, forget about jail. I think everybody deserves a trial, a fair trial. But she needs to be indicted and charged. Let's start with that. Until she doesn't get charged, Mr. Saucier is supposed to be home now with his family and forget about any felony. He should be completely pardoned. That's a fact. That's my humble opinion, of course. Now, are you still there with me, Sadie?
I am.
All right, Lisa, another note, I read some of your posts. I find many things interesting, and the one thing that really disturbed me was something about vaccine, your daughter, and the state of Vermont. Can you please refresh my mind exactly? Because I was very devastated when I see this stuff, but I understand this is nothing new. I said about this just a few shows ago, even last Sunday. In Italy, for example, the trend now, the state of Italy, the government, will remove your children out of your paternal or maternal authority if you do not vaccine your kids. Plus, you will get fined about 7,000 euro. Okay? I mean, this is like complete police state. Forget about police state. This is worse than Hitler. Hitler, I don't think, did this stuff to his own people. Okay? So this stuff is really tyranny. And this is not just about, of course, the very serious topic about that, who controls your body, and that's an act of violence to be forced to put, let's say, a chemical or any type of things in your body without your consent. But also we know very well there is enough science out there that these vaccines, they are terrible. They are connected to autism. They have substances that they harm your body. The level and the quantity that they now do compared to 40 years ago, it's ridiculous. When a child is born, they give him already 10 vaccines. I mean, there is so much connection to all these diseases that I wouldn't give a vaccine to my dog. Forget about my child, okay? But the point is now this state is trying to impose himself with violence, like in California and many other states. So what happened exactly to you? You got a letter in the mail, I guess, from the state of Vermont. What happened, please? Tell us the news.
Absolutely. That's sick. It's so sad that they would take your children. Me and Kris have chose not to vaccine our daughter, Cassandra. I did get her tetanus just due to the fact if she fell and got hurt, because I'm, prior firefighter and police officer, things like that, EMT, I feel that's important. But her vaccine, I received this letter. I was like, look, no more. I'm done. She's not getting any more. And the state, because we lost our health, I had to apply for state insurance. Well, when your child gets its vaccine, it goes into a database for the state. And when they're not up to date, the state sends you a letter saying that you need to have your child, immunizations done. And it really disturbed me because I'm like, I'm not doing this. And I told her doctor, and the doctor kind of like shushed me, be quiet, just tell him you're going to come back. And I'm like, I'm not coming back. She's not getting them. I'm going to homeschool my daughter regardless, so she's not going to need them for that anyway. And like you said, what did we do 40 years ago? What did we do 50, 60 years ago when there wasn't things like this? Our children builded up immunities to things by letting them play outside or in the dirt or whatever it may be. But it's my choice, and I am not going to put something like that in her body. And it was really disturbing that the state of Vermont is sending me a letter stating that you need to have your primary care update the system with your child's records. So what's the next step? If they don't update it and she doesn't have her shots, what's the repercussions I'm going to face?
Question: do you have, like for example, in California now it's mandatory, it's the law. What is the situation in Vermont? They're trying to just use color of the law, intimidation, or there is a real law that for me would be still a null and void. I couldn't care less. But let's say, do you have a law about forced vaccination of your children?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into that, and I'll definitely get back to you. But I feel that the state, if you're getting state insurance, it's kind of more like they're pushing it, and it's coming from the office, from whatever county you've applied. So I would say that I'll have to really look into that, because that I think is a little disturbing.
Because
but I'm not sure if it's forced.
You know what
I know
happened?
that she can't go to school if she doesn't have them.
For me, the school, screw the school. Seriously, I rather to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, like a big threat. I wouldn't send them to school anyway. I mean, I believe in homeschooling like you do, and more important, I don't believe in. This is not schooling. It's not education. It's reprogramming the children. It's completely indoctrination.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And that's the story that is not a story, it's a fact. Like in every country, by the way, not just America. I mean, I remember myself in Italy. I mean, especially, I grew up in boarding schools since I was 11. And then I graduated. I improved, I upgraded, to military school. So imagine how much indoctrination I went through. And that was Italy, that, by the way, that's even worse than here when it comes down to public school. They're completely declared, let's say, there are communist teachers we have, And I remember very well how it is difficult sometimes to stand by your principles, to stand by your own beliefs, even when you really don't have any belief, because you're just still a young guy. It's like, almost like you are a tree, and then they're trying to push you in a direction. They put a stick behind your butt, so hopefully you grow in that direction. And not everybody, it's lucky enough that somehow I was rebellious, asocial, and many other compliments that my teacher gave me. I was completely, my DNA didn't bend that good. And but many kids, they are good kids, and they just follow the orders and follow the indoctrination, and they grow up and they become a bunch of zombies. That's why I really believe it's important to monitor what they do at your children at the school. So I'm glad you keep your kid, your little baby at home, at least homeschooling. Question now, you gotta watch, because the problem is they go to the next step. In many states now, they will try to get CPS involved, because it's like in Hawaii. I heard stories that a newborn, just because the father and the mother did not want to give him a vaccine, they just come and kidnap the kid, the little baby infant, just because they didn't give him a vaccine. So this is very serious. They're like a bunch of vultures. I would say more coyotes, very cowards. They prey on normally weak situation. Like for example, when the man is out, single mom, they're perfect. So I really hope you get some advices.
I'd like them to try, because I'd be the next one sitting in prison.
I hope not. I want them to sit in prison. I don't want you in prison. They need to understand that you're not alone. And, it's not just about you. It is about probably many other, hopefully millions of people in Vermont that say, screw you. Don't you dare, Because this is not Italy anymore. I mean, Italy, they got away with this stuff because, unfortunately, like in the rest of Europe, they've been dominated since the time of the Romans. And then the popes and kings, and nothing really changed. This is still little America. I know people got kind of, brainwashed meanwhile, but we're still Americans. And I think we still have a little edge they don't have in many other parts of the world. It's called, the Second Amendment. I'm sorry, I'm not violent. I'm the most peaceful guy you can imagine. But you try to put poison in my body, or in my children's body, or anybody that is an innocent person doesn't want your garbage, that for me, it's a violent, deadly attack on the person. And I have the right to defend myself. Nobody's going to force me with a syringe in my body, I guess. And unless, I will fight back. That's all I'm saying. All right, my gosh. How is the weather there? Is hot weather in Vermont? I've never been there. How is the weather?
No, I want to say it stays about 70s, 80s. We've had a couple 90 degrees. Today's pretty mild. I want to say it's maybe 70-some degrees. A lot of rain that we've had lately.
It's a nice weather. I mean, it sounds like beautiful. You know, I see a lot of trees. I mean, you got probably north part, you know, close to the Canadian border, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We're next to the Canadian border. Lots of mountains.
Very nice. You know, one day I will go there. You know, I like Vermont about the gun laws. I know, unfortunately, you had the senator that I don't know how made it there in Vermont, but I guess Vermont is changing too. You know, the socialist senator that wanted to become a Bernie Sanders. You know, I don't know how. But beside that, you know, you got great gun laws. They are like Arizona. You know, the real constitutional carry. It started from Vermont. You know, one of the first states really had it. So I'm really happy about that. Listen. What do you do during your day? I mean, I think you are a full-time mom, right? Besides writing blogs and being on Facebook and trying to help your husband. Am I right?
Right. Full-time mom trying to help Kris. Actually, we just put a petition together, too. So if people visit that page on Facebook, we have a petition for the White House. And like I said, it's not just about Kris. It's about treating everyone equally and reviewing our justice system. So if people would sign that and share it, it would be great because we need 100,000 signatures. I think we have 139 for the White House to even review that for 30 days. So it would be great. So that petition is up there. But yeah, we fight a lot, and we visit. Fridays is a long day. It's a 6-hour drive.
Wow.
I actually pulled over here to speak to you, but yeah, we make sure that Cassie, it's very important for her to get to see her father.
Yes. And the last question before I let you go. When is exactly the time that it should be released? I know it's pretty close, right? We are getting there.
Yep. September 6th, he will be released. And that's actually a day before Cassie's birthday, so that's something great. Unfortunately, the stipulations on how he's being released as a BOP inmate to me for the first 32 days until his sentence is actually over on October 12th, and he'll be on some strict house arrest, curfew, ankle monitoring for the first 6 months, followed by his 3 years of probation.
Oh my gosh, not even over. And more important, that's why I think the fight is not over. Even when he gets back home, it's just started. You know, we need to be sure that President Trump, he gives them a full pardon, that he doesn't have any more record. We don't want to have him a felony. We don't want to have a dishonorable discharge. You know, the man who worked so hard for 10 years or so to get the benefits, the healthcare, and everything he needs, and everything he deserves, more important. So this is, for me, the most important thing people must understand. Not just because, okay, he's out in a couple of weeks or whatever, it's fine. No, this is something that we still need to work on. Of course, nobody's going to pay him back for the misery and stress and everything happened to him in the past. But we need to be sure at least we can fix the things can be fixed. So I really say, I believe President Trump, if he's given the right opportunity, and I don't want to talk for him, of course, because I have no idea really what he thinks about things. I know that there's a lot of pressure. I know he's just a man. At the same time, this is just a single thing. He doesn't even need to use much ink. It would take probably about 30 seconds, put a little signature there, move on, keep your word, and go to do the next thing. I really believe 30 seconds for him could be a lifetime for you and your family to have a little bit of a break, don't you think?
Absolutely.
All right. Listen, Sadie, I'll give you, as usual, I do to my guests, 60 seconds to close the segment. Whatever you want to say, you got the floor.
All right. For one, thank you very much for having me. For another, please visit Facebook. It's going to be Free Kris Saucier. That's FREEKRIS SAUCIER. And you can get on there, view the media. If you don't know the story, the petition for the White House, please sign it. And there's a You Caring, and we would greatly appreciate it if anyone could donate or even, just share. $5 even goes a very long way with us.
Very good. Listen, thank you very much. Okay, guys and girls, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at Zanna. Do not go away. Ready for the second part of the first hour. And, as I said, this show is killing me in some way, in a good way, because I cannot really detach myself from all these stories. And part of me, I'm happy. I'm a human being, okay? I'm not a robot. But at the same time, sometimes it's hard. Okay, do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We'll look at Zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. I remind you also that if you want to listen to the show on the internet and any other, past shows, you can go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. This is the final segment of the first hour. The first hour is about freedom. It's about also news. It's about what's going on around the world when it comes down to exposing tyranny, exposing corruption. I had on my show just a couple weeks ago my friend from Rome, Leo Zagami, book author, a man that I really believe is trying to bring some light into this, let's say, secretive, dark, corrupted, disgusting circle of, let's say, evil that pretty much is around the Vatican. And the story is this one, we were talking about in his book a couple of weeks ago when I had him on the show about all these, let's say, acts of perversion. And I'm not talking about, if you want to go out and screw each other. I'm not here as a moralist person. I couldn't care less. You do in your life whatever you want. But when you are out there as a member of the clergy, you declare yourself, God on earth. That's what the Pope says. If you want to go to God, he is God on earth. It's like his voice, he represents God. And all these other little leeches, like the cardinals, all these people that never really had a day of work in their life, or bishops, whatever they are, they claim themselves, talking for God, and then they get caught doing coke, drugs, orgies. That's bad enough. But when you have also evidence that they are using children and minors, and this is all a bunch of pedophiles, and we have in the news just the last few weeks, the sidekick, the biggest, number 2 guy in the Vatican, that he was arrested because found evidence, not just child pornography, that's bad enough, but also really with the child ring. That's beyond evil. And I'm glad, we were talking about this with Leo Zagami just a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago. Now, I know some of you are Catholic. I was a Catholic myself, even never really a convict Catholic. I mean, myself, I was born in Rome. I grew up Catholic because that's the way you are. You don't have a choice. You get baptized Catholic because that's the way family does. And you know what? Whatever. But then when I grew up, not even at 12, remember my first communion was I think at 10. But after a couple years that, I started to really use my brain. even without any type of input. I didn't have any help say, hey, you know what, by the way, think 1 second, Luca. After all, this Pope is just... And history proves that the clergy and these bastards at the Vatican, they are just human beings that they use their power to manipulate other people through religion. Nobody told me that stuff. I was able to come out by myself. Now, as I said, I'm not telling you what to believe. I couldn't care less if you want to pray the Pope or bow down to him and kiss his ring or kiss his ass. I could not care less. But what I care when you see evil like that, when you see this level of corruption. By the way, this Pope, on top of everything, is a freaking communist. Simple as that. Okay? It is not just a regular, corrupted bastard, using billions and trillions of dollars as an empire. Because remember, the kingdom of the Pope, the Vatican, it is not just a state, it's a monarchy. So the point, I'm against all monarchies, number one. I'm against all kings. I'm against the idea that somebody, can put himself or declare himself, something above another human being. So right there we have a big problem. But then when you see all this corruption, when you see, more important, this evil, and you is being exposed now, all these different acts of perversion. It is not just regular, let's have a fun with a couple of women or things like that. No, these people, they are a bunch of degenerate bastards. And let me tell you something. The things I'm saying right now on the air, I know I'm using probably little strong words. Guess what? This is still America. I can do that. If you don't like it, change channel. Okay? At the same time, if I was in Italy right now, just to remind you what it means to be an American and what it means to have these rights. If I was in Italy right now, probably I would have the Carabinieri knocking at my door. Because if you offend the Pope, if you offend the Vatican, like if you offend the president of Italy, that can be a crime. Vilipendio of religion. It's like an offense to religion. Can you believe that? That crap. Then people ask me, why did you leave Italy? Well, just that right there, you got a good reason. So screw the Pope, screw the Vatican, and screw all these people that they are degenerate bastards, preying on children, using the position of power, using the money that taxpayers are forced to give them. Yes, in Italy you have a tax that you are giving to the church. You can give it to any church, but the Vatican demand that if you're a Catholic. And is from your income tax. Can you believe that? More leeches on leeches. Not just the government. The Italian government is the biggest leech that you can imagine. But also you got the Vatican, demanding their whatever percent they want. Like they need more money. They got trillions in gold and, artifacts and everything else. These cardinals, they live like kings. And the Pope, yes, is a commie, but guess what? Yes, he's trying to be a little more humble than the others. He's still living in an empire. He still lives in a castle. He doesn't live in a freaking apartment, okay? So my point is this. I'm not trying to bring down any religion. I couldn't care less. If you want to believe in the fairy tale, fine, go ahead. If you believe that the Pope is really such, great guy, be my guest. Couldn't care less. But when you start to believe in people that they are committing crime and then being caught, look, let me give you some names. Otherwise you think I'm just going out generically. Police raid gay orgy at the Pope's key advisors in Vatican apartment. Okay, the department, among other things, were charged with tackling clerical sexual abuse. The occupant of the apartment was the secretary of Cardinal Francesco Coccalpalmerio, the head of the Pontifical Council for legislative texts and key advisors to the Pope. Cardinal Coccalpalmerio was alleged to have recommended his aid for promotion to the bishop, but in the light of the news regarding the gay orgy and a period recovering from a drug overdose in a Rome hospital, the plans are not likely to go ahead. The allegations about the orgy were first published by the Il Fatto Quotidiano newspaper. This is about mainstream media. The Australian.com reports the incident is symptomatic of a difficult period for the Pope. 4 years into his papacy, his reforms should be a full throttle, blah, blah, blah. The point is, this Pope, critics blame the Pope's choice of personal Cardinal George Pell, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Doesn't matter who is the Pope. The corruption is always there. It's been going on for centuries, okay? Think about the Middle Ages. You think the popes and the cardinals, where they were holy men, they were trying to share God and Jesus to the world? They were just there for their personal gain, screwing around. And the best thing they could do was screwing women. You know, I'm not getting me wrong. If you're gay, I couldn't care less. But guess what? When you have that type of position of power, they will abuse the power. If you're a young boy and they like your face and your butt, you have no place to hide. That's the problem. It is not just like, oh, first of all, if you are a holy man like you going around, you should act a little better. Okay? I never say I was a pope. I never say I'm a saint. I'm a regular guy. First of all, I'm straight. That's another story. But my point is disgusting. Why am I saying that? As I said, this is beyond just some corruption. This is beyond just some sort of little perversion. No, this is about also there is a dark side in the Vatican. Like when you read a book of, Leo Zagami, you will find out that it's beyond just perversion. It's about very dark part of pedophile. That's very sad. That's why I'm here talking about it. Now, I'd like to talk about something else, of course, but before I go ahead, I had on my first part of the show, Sadie, my English sucks always, my God, Sadie Saucier. That's really a human story, I'm telling you. I follow her post on Facebook. I see her daughter. I read a story about her husband and all these things. It is very sad. It is very sad. All I can say, if you can help a little bit, go on the page, $75, just, price of a coffee, save the money from a Starbucks, and maybe you can donate a few dollars to this woman that she's alone right now, and she has to take care of the child. She can't even work. As you heard, if you work out there for minimum wages or something like that, you have to pay then a babysitter. It's not worth the money. At least stay with your daughter. That's my point. So if you people really say, I want to support the troops, guess what? This is a guy who is a troop. Okay? And he needs now more help than ever. Okay? That's the bottom line. All right, let's get a little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Sorry if I sound a little harsh. Sorry if I sound a little, sometimes bitter. But it is tough to face all this reality and just be normal, okay? It is tough. All right, little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Do not go away.
It is that time again. 1776, the organic coffee to brew a revolution. Brought to you by Zanna Coffee. 1776 is the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans blend from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Get 1776 at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. Life is too short. 1776.
Okay, here we go. Final segment for today's first hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. That's 1776 organic coffee to brew a revolution. You can find it at www.zannacoffee.com. And by the way, I'm drinking it right now. One sec. I start to believe if I die, I will die eventually. When I die, They're gonna find my body. If they do an autopsy on me, they're not gonna find blood. They're gonna find Zanna coffee. And I don't know. This is one of the few things really I'm completely addicted. Of course, I can always stay without coffee. I'm not really addicted to anything, but I really love it. Let's put it this way. I enjoy coffee. People say you drink too much coffee, it's bad for you. Probably. You know what? I understand. If this is my only bad thing I do, I'm happy with that. I understand I push a little bit too much for the average person, probably. For me, it's fine. My coffee, first of all, I drink only Zanna organic coffee. And if I had to drink any other coffee out there, I would drink organic coffee only. But I don't want to brag too much. The level of acidity of my coffee is great. It's not bitter. It's organic, GMO free. And in my system, it works. I'm used to it and I need it. I love it. It makes me feel almost hyperactive in my brain, seriously. I'm not kidding. My ideas come out really sometimes from an excess of caffeine. My brain starts to go in turbo mode. And that's where I can start to write songs and create projects, maybe create new guns and stay up at night till 5 o'clock and dreaming the next thing I want to do. It brings out my creativity, seriously. It's like my magic potion. What can I tell you? I'm a freak when it comes to that. So anyway, there is a couple tricks though I do to have all this coffee in my system and don't ever feel any type of acid reflux or there is some acidity of course in coffee. It is not exactly a basic element. So I do one thing that it works for me. First of all, I drink Zanna coffee, number one, or stick with good quality organic coffee if I'm out. So I stay away from Starbucks, any other places that really just, GMO crap or whatever it is. For sure, every time now you buy coffee that is not organic, you will be probably drinking and brewing pesticides. That's a fact. Because they do that. How you think they're going to keep away all these different new diseases and stuff? It's all pesticides. So anyway, I don't want to drink pesticides. So it's very important. People think, I'm allergic to coffee. Maybe you are drinking the bad coffee. Anyway, so drink good coffee, drink organic coffee. And then, of course, one thing I like to do, I like lemons. You get fresh lemons. You get good water, not from the tap, good quality water. You squeeze one full lemon in this glass of water. Then you put like a quarter or maybe even half, let's say half teaspoon of baking soda. Mix it up. You have a great drink. I really love it, and it really helps everything, the digestion, and also keeps your body basic. The acidity really gets under control. So I drink that 2 or 3 times a day. It's my only type of soda that I really drink. I don't drink sodas, and I love it. And I think I can drink in this way more coffee than probably the average person out there. That's just pretty much what I'm doing. So anyway, that's the story. And talking about coffee, you want to drink Starbucks, fine, and honestly, sometimes I drink Starbucks too. When I'm desperate, at least I used to drink that Starbucks when I'm on the road, but now I fixed that. Even when I'm desperate, get what? I got my little coffee, thermos, and I put my Zanna coffee inside because I refuse to drink Starbucks for many reasons. And you don't have to do that. I mean, if you like Starbucks, fine, it's your business. I don't care. But I tell you my reasons, my situation. First of all, the CEO of Starbucks is an ass. Okay? He's a jerk. More important, I don't like his politics. If he was just a jerk, we'd be fine. But he's really bringing policies that they are, my opinion, against my belief. And maybe they're okay for your belief. That's fine. Maybe people say, look, I think the same about you and your freaking Zanna coffee. I don't like your belief. That's fine. You have the right to do whatever you want. But for me, I don't like Starbucks because his political beliefs, they're exactly the opposite of mine. And he has even tried to keep them private. No, it's completely splash them on your face. And I don't like that. It's anti-gun. That's bad enough. And, when it comes down to gays, I don't care what you do. I could not care less. If you're a gay, guess what? God will judge. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not telling you, you're going to go to hell. No, I'm not the type of person. You know that. But at the same time, don't need to push that stuff on my face. Because if I was a CEO of a company, I'm not going to tell you should be gay, you should be straight. I don't care what you are. Just drink my freaking coffee and be merry. That's all I can tell you. That for me, it's like almost over exceeding. And if I was a shareholder of Starbucks, I say, you know what, idiot, can you stick selling coffee? Why you have to push your personal agenda on things? The most important for me, it's the guns aspect. Because, that gun is a right. If you say, I support gay, fine, whatever, couldn't care less. But if you say I don't condone, or let's say I'm against the traditional marriage or whatever, and I'm not a marriage person, you know that, okay? I have a little problem. You push an agenda. I would say, you know what? Everybody's welcome. Respect each other. Drink my freaking coffee. And if you want to carry a gun, it's your freaking right. That's the philosophy at Zanna Coffee. I'm not right. I'm not left. I want you to respect others and you will be respected. I want everybody as rights. Nobody should have more or less. Shouldn't have any type of special classes. Like I hate this stuff. Oh, the Black Month heritage. Why not white? No, why not orange? We are all human beings, for God's sake. Can we stop this crap? Okay? That's ridiculous. So Starbucks sucks, in my opinion. By the way, their coffee sucks too. When I used to drink, I was desperate. It's bitter. It is not like a good flavor, especially the espresso. Then if you're an idiot, you want to get overcharged $5 for some sort of a mixed blend of cream and crap, and, only God knows what they put. They cannot even repeat. Okay? $5. I was with my friend Charles, okay? We were recording the Scadi last week in the mountains in Williams. And I'm not cheap, I offer. Say, Charles, can I get you something to drink at Starbucks? I needed a coffee myself, honestly. Say, yeah, give me that smoothie, frappuccino, whatever it's called. Okay. $4.99. For God's sake, I can buy you chicken with that money. I mean, seriously, if you want to get ripped, if you want to have a plan to save money and maybe buy more guns or buy more ammo, do not buy the crap at Starbucks. It's ridiculous. So that's my point. But still, as I said, it's your money. You decide what you want to do with that. But lately, another important thing, you drink, you pay so much for that. But also one thing they found out in an article, the problem is that with Starbucks, they found, according to this investigation, tested 30 different branches of the chain, Starbucks, to make this determination, which included taking samples to check how sanitary the tables, trays, and ice are. Okay? So bottom line, they found bacteria, different level of contaminations. Okay? This is all coming from head of the policy at the Charter Institute of Environmental Health, Tony Lewis, said that the amount were concerning. He added that bacteria should not be present at any level. Okay? There was huge, significant numbers. This is in Starbucks. Okay? This is directly from the Conservative Daily Post reports. Many people around the world enjoyed coffee and other cool drinks from the baristas employed by Starbucks, Caffè Nero and Costa Coffee. However, they may want to think twice before ordering again. The BBC Watchdog program performed consumer affair checks on popular businesses. They found bacteria samples in many of their coffee chains. Remember, Starbucks pledged to hire 10,000 Muslim refugees to, just to mess up with Trump. You know what? Why don't you just hire human beings that they're here in this country legally? American people probably need job before you start to pander to people that we don't even know where they are from, and we don't even know if they wash their hands in their cultural and how they clean their butt. But I know these people don't use toilet paper, just to let you know. And that's a normal day in their country, okay? I'm not even judging. I don't care. Just don't come and start to hire people with that type of standard, for God's sake. Anyway, I'm drinking my 1776. As I said, this is the way you can support the show. I don't expect everybody like me. Everybody likes me. Honestly, I don't want that. That would be scary. I'm not here to please everybody. I'm not here to make new friends. I'm here to bring you what I believe it is true. What I believe is right, according to my beliefs. I believe in respect. I believe in freedom. I believe that every human being has the same right, but we're all different. Don't pull me the crap that we all the same. No, everybody's different. And we don't deserve all the same stuff, because if you work harder, you deserve more. Sometimes it's not fair. I understand. I've been many times under that side. You know? But at the same time, I say we all have a chance. We should have a chance to be free, to be successful. We shouldn't be penalized. We shouldn't be, all losers just because the state decides so. So anyway, that's the story. Now, ready for our number 2. It's going to be about guns. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We look at Zanna. I'm very excited about this new Scadi project. I'm recording. I'll show you during the second hour the new commercial, audio commercial, a collaboration with this great lady from Sweden. I wanted somebody with a real Swedish accent. She has the voice of a goddess, and she will give voice, and she's giving voice, and she has given voice to my commercial for the Scadi, the new rifle by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Awaken the warrior in you. Yes, so I'm very excited about that. I will talk a little bit about some training. We're going to go back to the training part. I want to use the second hour to empower people, not just to talk about the latest gun on the market. No, I'm not even trying to sell you stuff. I want you are aware that first of all, you are the weapon. And then, of course, you can have weapons. That would be great. Guns, rifles, knives, whatever. But the bottom line is, I want to empower you to be able to defend yourself. I know I'm just a regular guy on the radio, but you know what? Every type of learning experience I have, I would like to share it with you. By the way, lately I need to talk a little bit about myself. Normally I used to say, I'm just a humble guy. I'm here trying to share what I know. Guess what? I spent 6 months. I got more certification than the freaking, I don't know. You know what I meant. So now I can tell you, when every time I teach you something, I can say, now I can teach you stuff. That's why I went to school. I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning every weekend to go to Las Vegas to get all my different certifications that I have. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to share what I can to have a more empowered population of free human beings. In this case, Americans. But if you're another country, I want to give you the same opportunity. You're my brother, you're my sister, if you're listening to the show. And I love you. Don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Wake up.